What are you serving? Is it time to give no to ice? Are we really duty free, or have we become habitual in our own certainty through behaviours, boundaries, or beliefs? Have these practices supported or restricted who we are? Is it time to vacate the premises of purpose placed upon us and each other, or will we continue to segregate our soul's potential? This week's super new moon partial solar eclipse is set to shed light on any shadows we have yet to face, as the final countdown towards our own repossession. I've been served. Notice, under Section 21, I have until the 19th of May to vacate my home. This will be my last day here as I prepare to be evicted, to check out, take inventory. It's nothing I didn't already know, haven't experienced way too many times before, but this final countdown has empowered me to stand firmly in what I need during this uncertainty, as well as who I don't. Me, the discovery of who I am, the versions I must now release, if I'm to make it through the customs I've had enforced upon me, both by myself and others, and migrate towards who I've always been. Something I can feel rising within today, ironically, with the spring equinox, as the light balances out my own shadow, whilst I, like so many of us, feel into the illusion of external abundance. Safety through control, security of societal structures that have merely served to restrain rather than support. From the personal independence payments that have left many in despair regarding financial future, to artificial intelligence, both in computer-generated responses, art, services, and the automatic, repetitive reactions of individuals lacking in self-awareness. Through to land restrictions, unethical borders, war, and the repression of the feminine based on the patriarchal view, regardless of gender, on productivity. As the world continues to point blame towards wherever the latest distractive trend is headed, to release those under scrutiny from speculation, the rage that was once within me has developed into something softer. Compassion, held, seen, heard, felt, in my dance earlier to the lyrics of the final countdown ringing in my ears. Since, I've returned reborn, yet somehow of the same, calm, silent, conscious, in a new yet familiar role now being asked, that potentially seeks to remove me from all I've known, especially how I've seen myself. The truth is, from this place, although I trust, I can't help but wonder where we're all headed, whether we can collectively continue to stand tall and at the same time consume what little there is left to be found in repetitive cycles, before something gives notice, leaving me open, like so many, to witness and hold space for the necessary course correction of this week's super new moon and partial solar eclipse. Occurring in Aries on the 29th of March in the UK, whilst on the one hand there is the potential of new beginnings, goal setting, and pursuit of aspirations with determination, heightened by this powerful surge of energy, it is in how we choose to embrace change the path walked will be determined, which, although for some uncertain, will contain roots in the past cycles thanks to both Mercury and Venus being retrograde. As with all eclipses, that which is hidden will come to light in this rites of passage for the unfamiliar territory this firstborn zodiac sign epitomizes, giving us all an inner sight into some of the wounds that may rise as a result, particularly extreme responsibility, leadership, resilience, and restrictive ownership through the face of scarcity, if we continue to collectively define birthright through order, be that financial, physical, sexual, cultural, societal, or any of the many divisions now available, rather than the completion now necessary to truly create another way. Supported by both Neptune and Saturn moving into the energy of Aries by May, Mercury currently stationed here, and Mars in Cancer, forming a positive aspect to Venus and the North Node in Pisces, Despite how it may seem, we are being directed by a deep transition of planning within what can feel like a chaotic but no less needed shake-up of stagnant energies until at least April the 7th. Meaning, with Uranus in Taurus currently squaring Chiron, now is a pivotal time of preparation and healing. If we are to recognize any often perceived placating pauses for the vital alignment of what we want to take forward. The final of 6 Aries Libra sets, this eclipse is set to have an effect for the next 6 months as we redefine our personal potential. Through the courage, independence, and self-assertion available of long-term shifts, by embracing the changes that need to happen, final decisions can be made, especially in the perception we have of ourselves. Taking the abilities we have gained to tackle anything that undermines us, including our own views and how things should be, forward, forming the very steps of self-mastery and empowerment available. Transmuting inherent blame as an opportunity to look at where we are headed all the time we place our path in the directive of others. Only in being straightforward and sincere in our authentic selves will we recognize the courage and bravery that can never be unseen, that many have until now missed or lost sight of in the external worth sought, demanded, and fought against. Over the next few months, there is a greater incentive to look at where we can be more innovative, especially in the energy expenditure, both globally and on an individual soul level, if we are to ensure we remain inspired by anything that sparks our inattention. This has never been more prevalent than in the stories we are clinging to collectively through the avoidance of self-awareness. Rather than make new aims, this new moon would be better far served by looking at the relationship we have with ourselves first, to regain any hope lost through lack of this embodied connection, making lasting, constructive change rather than feeding the tempting impulsivity sure to be ignited. That being said, a little adventure couldn't go amiss, especially in the obstacles we may find ourselves facing, as it is in the experience of our actions we learn the greatest wisdom. The whole emphasis of this lunar solar event. Blocking out the sun, the light we rely on can no longer be seen. Instead, there will be a transition of momentary darkness, necessary and as lengthy as required if we are to find the illumination being offered. How we react to this will depend on any resilience we have not only discovered, but are willing to provide ourselves and each other by giving notice to anything that threatens to repossess our environment. Not the reflection of Pachamama, the situations that have or have not empowered us, but the very body we find ourselves in. By being more content with this self-sufficiency, for the unwavering abundance it is, we may just break through any routines that have been to serve our own remembrance of who we really are, underneath it all in our core, heart-led divinity. Loosely aligning with Mercury, it can be hard to see the path ahead of us. But it is in this discomfort and the pain of our past, including for some lifetime subconsciously held, that we will create the desire to build something different, provided we can avoid assumptions and conclusions and instead remain complete in the consideration of others and their reactions, acknowledging there is a fine line between confidence and arrogance, which provides nothing but a false sense of courage. In a friendly angle with Jupiter and Pluto, only by expanding into the necessary surrender of what was, will any rapid developments from now until the next Aries full moon on the 6th of October take place. We can, of course, expect a few surprising twists, with Black Moon Lilith leaving Libra on the 27th to enter Scorpio for 9 months, alongside Neptune also being evicted from its home in Pisces, where it has resided since 2011, into Aries on the 30th. The likelihood of uprising, particularly involving sexual liberation, intimacy, and creative feminine freedom, will seek from us all a required balance between our own conflict and compassion, if we are to avoid the same industrialized economic revolution and potential civil war for which this placement is known. It is only in accepting with patience, especially for ourselves, that clarity may not come, or at least not in the way we are expecting it, we will see this for the true beginning it is. of a much larger self-discovery journey as we remember her within us, the intuitive personal power and adaptability of our own cycles. With Mars direct but in the sign of its fall, only by embracing what we are being called to surrender will we gain our full strength, releasing any past wounds around love, self-expression, and communication of the heart's desire from within. Aligned with the first decan of Aries, represented by the Two of Wands in the Tarot, it is in the bold individualization of the lone entrepreneur or visionary with tact and independence that will steer us forward now, through the emotional self-reliance and detachment of societal expectations upon our own unique path unfolding before us. But this active spirituality and leadership can only pioneer any ideas if we get real with our own needs, working with, not against our emotional intelligence, rather than the artificial light of his ignorance. Happening here at 10:57 a.m., we are being gifted the numerical frequency of the High Priestess, Justice, Empress, Temperance, Hierophant, Wheel of Fortune, Magician, Fool, Chariot, Emperor, and once again, the Hermit overall, inviting us all to get into the feel of what it means to complete anything necessary, as we align with the potential of the new year ahead, evicting anything that has emotionally vacated us, serving notice to the endurances that, whilst once needed to restore harmony and patience, have deported their purpose, as we take inventory of any structures that may or may not be supporting this, our own views included. May we all migrate towards a less customary in-forcement of our own potential. In deepest munay, I ask you now, where's it all headed? You know where I am. Take care. Kirsty.